Okay, everybody, welcome to the July 2nd meeting of the Sugar Land Development Corporation, called to order at 4:30. Public comment. Do we have any public comments?
No one.
Okay. 3 minutes. A, consideration of and action on the minutes of the March 5th, 2024 Sugar Land Development Corporation meeting, the April 2nd, 2024 joint Sugar Land Development Corporation meeting and Sugar Land 4B Corporation meeting, and the June 4th, 2024 Sugar Land Development Corporation meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Kamali and a second by Cutchin. In favor? Any against? Okay, it passes unanimously. Workshop, 4A workshop, review of and discussion on the proposed fiscal year 2025 budget, non-lead compliance and budget analyst. But introducing none for his very first performance.
Right. So good afternoon, board. I want to introduce Young Lee to you. He's been with us for almost 2 years now. He is our compliance and budget analyst. He has his bachelor's and master's from the University of Illinois. He worked at the, yeah, but worked at the state of Illinois before he came down to Sherland. So he'll take us through the budget.
Thank you, Alba. Right, good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm gonna welcome to my presentation today, and it's going to be a budget workshop. And so for today, we're going to go through FY24 budget and projections, and then we have FY25 proposed budget. We will go through some capital projects. And finally, we're going to the 5-year forecast assumptions, so we can have a clearer picture of how the future will be looking like for SLDC. All right, first of all, let's go through this chart here. This is a sales tax performance chart, which is the main funding source for SLDC. And there is 2 lines on the chart here. You see the red line represent the actual numbers or actual collections that we have so far. From October into June of 2024, and the blue line represent the budget that we actually budget for and we estimate earlier. And besides in February, we have a little bit lower in actual comparing to the estimate. Other months we all the actual all outperforms the budget, and especially in May we have 15% higher than we estimate. All right, let's go to FY24 revenue. So for sales tax, we have projections of $8.72 million, which is $670,000 higher than the number that we budgeted for earlier.
Non?
Yes.
Are you okay taking questions during the presentation? Do you
Oh,
want to
sure.
at the end? Michelle?
Yeah, I just. Sorry. Just, Ron, if you go back to the slide.
Yep.
What is the bar?
The bar shows the percentage of how much higher that the actual is overtaking the budget. Which means how much we collect higher than we estimate for.
So in May,
Yes,
we're collected 15% higher than what was budgeted.
yes, that's what we estimate.
Thanks, that helps.
All right, so going on to interest income, so for FY24, we project for $750,000, which is higher than budget of $350,000. And one note here is sales tax and interest incomes. We budget for a little bit lower than the projection is because we were using the conservative way of budget because of the COVID, and in the future, we're gonna adjust that to be more matching with the projection. Miscellaneous, we have $33,000. So this miscellaneous line here is solely the participation rent of the Smart Financial Center. And that's one outperform the budget as well. And we have more than $10,000 extra. And for first one assignment, we still keep it at $2 million. So aggregately, we have $1.03 million higher than the original budget. All right, moving on to FY24 expenditures. So In terms of the programs, there's no anticipated change in expenditure, except there is a change in reserve opportunities, so the $4 million that we originally budget for in FY 24 will be absorbed back into our fund balance, and then we're using that for the future capacity. And that will be the same for the budget CIP. We budget $2 million for Fraser River turnaround alternate. And that project is on hold right now, so $2 million is also being saved for the future's capacity also. And we have transferred to other fund. This one here is for the salary reimbursement for staff, and we are aggregate at $7.35 million. All right, this is FY 24 summary, so we have the same, so we put side by side the budget and projection so that you can see the difference that we are, how much we budget for and how much we project it to be at the end of September. So we have the same beginning fund balance, net income, because we have a higher sales tax revenues. And also, we've also achieved some of the savings in terms of expenditures, so we have a positive net income. And we saved $8.45 million. That triggered down into the ending fund balance. That number is still the same. We have the accrued sales tax of the same, debt service reserve is the same. And we project at the end of the year, we are at $22.97 million, and that is $21.76 million over the policy that the CD recommend. Bond cover ratio is 2.44, which is way above the rapid guideline of the city of 1.25. All right, moving on to FY 25 revenue. So in FY 25, like I mentioned earlier, because we are recovering really well in terms of sales tax, so we are adopting the new financial management policy for the city. And that make the sales tax a little bit higher in estimations. So for FY 25, we have $8.73 million, which is $440,000 higher than the prior forecast that we did last year. And in terms of interest incomes, because we have higher the fund balance, that also helping us to accumulate more interest. That will be $200,000 higher than the prior forecast. Third one assignment of $2 million. This one, our budget office has been working on the preliminary tax roll from the Fort Bend cap, and we are calculating and getting to the $2 billion, which is $400,000 higher than the prior forecast. Miscellaneous, which is still the same as last year, which is the participation rent at the smart financial centers. It will be keeping flat for this year. Aggregately, for revenue side, it will be $11.36 billion. Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back to the, excuse me, sales tax, the budget estimate? What is that based on? You said 120, what is that based on?
The sales tax?
Yes.
So I will be moving forward a little bit.
Based from the forecast that was prior to this one.
Prior to this one, we have a little bit more conservative. So if I remember right, we will, for FY 25, yeah, I have Crosby here. Do you remember?
Yeah, so the policy that we are adopting, the new financial management policy, indicates for FY 25, we'll use CPI 3.5% increase, and then in 26, what's going to happen in year 2 is 5-year average CPI. So we'll take the average of the prior 5 years in FY 26 to come up with the CPI increase. And then in the following years, 3 through 5, we'll take a 3% growth. So it's a slightly more aggressive approach to what we have now.
Yeah,
So
Suzanne, you remember at our retreat or budget retreat, and yeah, that's where we talked about, we were being way too conservative, which didn't allow us to budget for as much.
I remember that, and we needed to do that, but I just wanted to make sure that we're still monitoring the sales tax, or the sales income, to make sure we stay in line with that sales. So I wanted to make sure that was included in this estimate. Not just that we were being more aggressive, but we were also looking at the sales tax income to make sure we're in line with both of those.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'll just add a comment. If you can go back one slide. So Suzanne, the 8.73 budget estimate,
Mhm.
basically projections, correct me if I'm wrong, projections for this year are 8.72. So you're lining it up with this year's projections, which end September of this year.
Yes.
You're pretty darn close, or $44,000 to,
The prior estimate.
correct. So you're bringing it to 24's number, plus or minus, right?
Yes.
And with a little bit of 44,000, which sounds like and then as he stated that we're gonna use CPI and the 3% projection on years 2026 and outwards.
Yes.
Am I saying this correctly?
Yes.
Perfect.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carol.
So when you say prior forecast, are you talking about the 2024 projection, the 2024 budget, or is this talking about just what your original forecast was for FY25 until you revised it?
So in FY 24, the budget office also have the forecast for 5-year projections, and that is the prior project. And now we're doing our new estimation, and we are comparing between those two figures.
Okay, so it's the 24 projection.
For 25, and now this is-
Okay, so I was trying to compare it to the 24. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's go into FY 25 expenditures. So for economic development program, we're gonna keep it flat at $640,000. The economic incentives here, so there is an increase. So the prior forecast is we have $1.7 million. This $1.7 million is the existing performance agreements that we obligate to pay for companies if they satisfy all the criteria in the performance agreements. So we have multiple of them, for example, Champion X, Credo, AOI, CBR Energy, etc. And for this year, we increased it to $2.2 million. This one here having $500,000 extra as an effort to carry out the office retention programs. Okay. And that service will be kept flat. Reserve for opportunities. So this line right here is in FY 24. We decided to absorb it back, and this is where we're gonna use it in the future. We're gonna use it in FY 25. $4 million is putting back over there, and we actually increase it by $1 million for the opportunities in the futures. So for example, Project Uzi, and for some other innovation and entrepreneur programs, that stay there to be as a flexible line so that we can capture the opportunities if ones arise. And the last line is transfer out to other fund. This one here, most of them is using for the salary reimbursement to the general fund. Yes, sir.
So on the transfers out CIP.
Oh, yes.
We carried forward
Yes.
the 24 CIP. This was the U of H connector road.
Yes.
So why are we expecting to spend less money when everything gets more expensive?
Yes, I forgot to mention that line. Thank you for mentioning. This 2.82 is actually using for the use of H project, but because it's on hold, so we're gonna replace it. We were gonna reallocate it for 2 different projects. Yes, and I will mention this 2.3 later in this later slide. Okay, so for FY 25 summaries, since in FY 24 we achieved some savings, so we have a higher budget, higher beginning fund balance. In early of 25, we have 28.04, which is higher than the prior forecast of $8.8 million. The net income will be very similar, is in line with with the earlier forecast. Accrued sales tax is actually increased because we have a higher sales tax estimations. Debt service reserve will be kept flat, and that trickled out to the ending fund balance of 19.34, and that is $18.03 million higher than the required policy. Feel very healthy.
So
Yes.
for instance, let's say that redevelopment opportunities, which seem to be kind of quiet right now, but might pop up. R for O and all that, that's where that's gonna come from, right?
So, this depends on the, on the program, but for big program, yes, we will be transferring from the RFO, and before we using that reserve opportunities, have to go to the board for approval first.
Okay, all right, and if there's some projects that come up that we want to use debt financing for, we're gonna have to go through and amend the budget or what?
Crosby, do you want to lead?
So. If we were to debt finance, yes, we would have to amend the budget, which kind of leads us into the debt service reserve piece. We already apportion out what 3.4 million debt service just out of our fund balance to account for those situations. So yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. So, just repeating what Crosby said earlier, we have a new model to estimate the sales tax. So for FY 25, we use a growth of 3.5% growth in FY 25. In FY 26, we do 5-year average of CPI, which is 3.8. And for the out year, we're gonna use 3% if CPI is positive. And for TERS 1, the assignment ending in result is a result of the solution in TERS 1 in FY 26. So since FY 26, we don't have any more revenue stream from the TERS anymore. All right, reserve opportunities. We budget a total of 21 million across the forecast from FY 25 into FY 29. And that service, repeating what Crosby just says that we can actually, issuing more debt because there's one series that is maturing in FY 25, which means that we are having more capacity to conduct more of the projects in the future or issuing out more debt. Yeah. There will be a snapshot at the end and you can see it clearer with the chart. And CIP projects are the two ones that gonna replace the U of H for FY 25 will be major street rehabilitations and landscape replacement for major roadway and enhancement projects. All right, the first CIP project is the major street rehabilitation. So this one here is the replacement of concrete roadways around Industrial Boulevard, Commerce Green Boulevard, and Greenwood Parkway. This is because our road infrastructure has been deteriorating due to the freeze and drought that's happened in the past. That makes the infrastructure is not safe for motorists, so we are doing this to keep our city safe. And the funding here is in FY 25, it's going to be $2 million. FY 26 is going to be $2 million. FY 27 will be $1.5 million.
I don't know if anyone is in here from this department or not, but we're just talking about Commerce Green. It's really not in bad shape on there quite a bit. And then the second part of my question would be industrial. I know the city council has spoken at retreats about instead of going in with concrete, because the word there says concrete, we had talked about using the black, what is it, tar stuff? Asphalt, which is a cheaper way of doing stuff, especially in the industrial part.
So I am here.
I didn't see.
Yeah, I was hiding back here in the corner. I'm glad I came. I just came to listen. All three of these are not like what we have been talking about with respect to the GEO bond where it's full, the whole roadway gets replaced. All three of these sections are panel replacements for specific pothole areas and panels that have failed. The industrial specifically is from Reed Road North. And Greenwood Parkway, this is kind of basically all the way around from 59 all the way back around. Commerce Green as a whole does have a number of failed panels, but is not, again, this is not like what we've been talking about with the GEO bond. Now, the question about potentially using asphalt, absolutely. If we determine that asphalt is a viable option in there, we could use this money for that same alternative.
Thanks.
Okay. Mhm.
Much needed.
Thank you. And for the next CIP project is the landscape replacement for major roadway enhancement project. So this one here is to replace and reconstruct all landscape in various major routes like US 59, US 90, and State Highway 6. And we will reconstruct the landscape pad along the major route to improve the treatment of areas. And for the funding size, from FY 25 to FY 29, we budget for $300,000 a year. And so, but for every year, this project is moving forward, it will come back to the board for approval.
Yes, Carol.
So does TechStop still have the matching funds and stuff?
Microphone, please. Microphone, please. Yeah, you're
but-
reading my mind, Carol.
Okay, yeah, so does TechStop still have that matching fund program we participated in the past?
So, yes, they do. You want me to take this one? Are you sure? Okay. They do. What you're referring to is the Green Ribbon Program whereby they do the construction and then we take over the maintenance on the back end. They do, and we've partnered with them now on 59, 6, and Eldridge to do all of those. The only one left would really be 90. This is much smaller. Those are big multi-million-dollar year-long projects. This is much smaller areas where we have slope paving that needs to be put in, or bed maintenance, or areas that we find where we want to do stamped concrete, things like that. This is more of an annual ongoing improvements to the right of way. We do still try to take care of big things on state highways specifically with Green Ribbon. Right now, they don't have a call open, but the next time they do, we'll probably go after 90.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And that is a two CIP project for FY 25. I put it in like a snapshot here so that you can see in FY 25, we have $2 million for the major street rehabilitations and $300,000. That makes up $2.3 million, which is fine. All right, and this one here is the snapshot for our outstanding debt service. So as Crosby mentioned earlier, is that in FY 25, we're gonna have one of the debt service will become mature and we're gonna pay off all the debts. So that makes the debt service will be dropped down around $900,000. And that will be a capacity for us to follow up with new projects or issuing new debts in FY 26 and moving forward. And the principal that we're paying against right now is $33.9 million. All right, here is the 5-year forecast for SLDC. There's a lot of numbers, but key takeaways here that we have a net income throughout the course of the 5 year. They are all negative because we are actually budget for the incentives and budget for R4O, the reserve opportunities to actually making all the project happens. But we have a very healthy ending fund balance, which is from $11 billion to around $19 billion. And for every year, we are over policies more than $10 billion each year. And the bond coverage ratios is way higher than what the city policies recommend of 1.25. Questions on this?
Questions, anyone? Any more? Thank you, Nan. Appreciate it. Okay, number 5, director's report. Do we have a director's report? Alva.
Yes, we do. I'm the assistant director, but just have a few updates for you guys on what we've done over the last month or so. So Jennifer Alexander is our new business development manager. Her and I attended the bio conference in San Diego this past month. It was a great regional effort between the Greater Houston Partnership, the state of Texas, the Woodlands Partnership, and Carolina as well. Made really great leads. We also have a couple of interns that have started. We have Rithnik, we have Brooke, who's here from Public Works, Ella from Community Development, and Catherine from Marketing and Tourism for Business Sugarland. So we're happy they're with us and they're doing really great work for all of us in our divisions. I didn't go through the slides, so I apologize. I do want to highlight that, we are working very diligently on the Rapid Start Power Plant project. Our roadshow will start in new territory on July 18th at 6:30. And so we're getting out into our community to make sure to address any concerns, answer any questions, not just this year, but throughout the next few years as this project progresses. For marketing and tourism, there's been a lot of events that have been attended and also placed on our Visit Sugar Land Instagram. If you do not already follow us, please do at Visit Sugar Land on our Instagram. We participated in the JJ Watt Charity Classic, the Czar Food and Wine Festival, and also hosted ambassadors and stakeholders in the Constellation Field Suite, as well as the Smart Financial Suite. Our Suite eShop is open and up as a website if you want to buy any merch, any branded merch, but also available through the Suite Shop at Smart Financial Center. I do want to say that Little Woodrow's has had a soft opening as of yesterday, and so, you know, if it gets to be too much, sometimes just stop by the bar and have a drink. For community development, Devin Rodriguez, the Director of Community Redevelopment and Planning, was on a crew panel this past month, as well as hosting HOA representatives at Constellation Field and Smart Financial as well. The Great Homes Program is open and will close on July 31st, so spread the word for any applications or anybody that could take advantage of that program. And I know you may have heard, but we are What Works certified, silver certified. And so we're very excited about that and look forward to making progress on that as well. So that is what I have for you today.
Thanks, Alba. I've actually bought stuff from the suite online. I bought some mugs. Yeah. Carol, would you like to?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned at 4:56. Thank you all.